AI agents are all the rage at the minute, and today we're going to be jumping into Lindy AI to discover how we can build a pretty advanced meeting prep agent in a very short period of time. So imagine every new sales meeting that you've got coming up, you could have a report on who the person is, what their professional history is, what they like to talk about online, information from their LinkedIn profile that can all be sent to you automatically 30 minutes, 15 minutes, however long you want before the meeting so that you're fully clued up on who you're speaking with. And you could also have this agent prepare for you a list of potential pain points that the prospect in the meeting might want to discuss based off of their company and their professional history. So in this video, we're going to use Lindy AI. So I'm going to log into this quickly now. So I've been diving into Lindy quite a lot recently, trying to figure out, okay, exactly how does this tool work? There's been a lot of hype about this tool recently. I think one of the main things that's really great about it is it does make it a lot simpler to start building AI agents. A lot of the tools like N8N and other automation tools on the market are great, but they just take a little bit more setting up out of the box. So in this video, I wanted to show you one of their basic templates, and then we're going to customize it and make it a little bit more advanced. And I want to walk you through step by step how to do that. So if you log into Lindy, I've got a fresh account here that I'm using for this video. You can see that there are a bunch of templates that you can take a look at. If you click on see all here, it's going to, oh, that's the sales template. If you click on see all templates, there is a whole bunch of templates that you can click and get started with. If you listen to the My First Million podcast, which is a really popular business podcast, there was a guest on the show recently called Andrew Wilkinson. He is a billionaire designer, product developer, and investor. I'm pretty sure that they've created these recommended templates section here based off of what he talked about on the show, because these are all the ones that he pretty much used. So today we're just going to look at this meeting prep alert, right? So if we click on it, it's going to pop up here and say, hey, do you want to add this template? You can see here that there is a trigger for this meeting prep alert, which we'll talk about in more detail in a second. This is a Google Calendar trigger. So if we click add, it's going to add this Lindy to my account. You can see down here on the left-hand panel, it's got my recent Lindys. So if I go back over to my Lindys, it's now added it in here into the my Lindys folder. So let's come over to it. If you press space and click to drag around, super simple stuff. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And they make it really easy for you to get started. They do have these notes that you can, that sort of direct you where to go. I'm going to get rid of these because we just don't need them. All right. I'm going to walk you through this step by step. Don't you worry. Let me be your guide. So you can see down here that this is a meeting prep alert, right? So if we click on the trigger, so this is the action that starts or wakes up the agent, should we say. This is the trigger that wakes up the agent. If I click on this, you can see that it needs a calendar to be connected to. It's already connected to my calendar, but if you don't have a calendar connected, it will say add account. If you click on this, then you can connect your Google Calendar to this trigger. And then you can select what calendar within your calendar, because, you know, if you've got multiple calendars in your Google account, maybe you have one for your meetings, maybe you have one for your habits, maybe you have one, you know, different calendars for different things. You need to pick which calendar you want to actually connect it to. And then it asks us here the minute offset. So specify the trigger timing in minutes before or after the event starts. So at the minute it's on -10, that's the default. So what that means is 10 minutes before an event, this calendar trigger is gonna kick off. So I'm going to set this to 30 so that we've got a little bit more of a buffer to receive the report and digest the information before jumping on the call. The next thing here we've got is restrict by attendee type. So filter events based on whether attendees are internal or external to your organization. So this is basically, we can filter this trigger starting depending on the attendee type. If I open this up, you can see all events, only events with internal attendees, and only events with at least one external attendee. So if I put this as only events with internal attendees, what that means is only people with the same email address domain, so natural.agency, will this fire for. So if I wanted to set this Lindy up to run only when I've got like an internal meeting that's running between different team members, then that's what I would want to set this as. In this case, I'm actually going to set this to only events with at least one external attendee. So an external attendee is somebody that does not have the same email address as me. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're thinking sales meetings here. So upcoming sales calls, somebody's booked in a meeting via my cal.com link on the Natural website. I want to know information about them before I jump on the call so that I can arrive to that meeting prepared. So we're not setting this up for any internal meetings. We only want to trigger this if there is an external attendee. And then we can go one step further on the filters here, which is filter events on this trigger. You can see only the events matching your filters will go through. So if I turn this on, now we can see what properties do we want to filter this by. And if I open this up, this is basically all of the fields that Lindy collects from this Google Calendar event action. So when a new event is booked, it will filter, we can filter it by different things. So the name of the event, and then we can say contains X, Y, and Z. So I'll show you why this is useful for myself. For example, if I go to cal.com, if I just go to my event types, so you can see down here that I have a bunch of different types of events, right? So I've got a free 30-minute automation consultant for business owners. There's a bunch of different stuff in here. So if I only want this Lindy to fire on this event here, for example, I can just say, okay, well, when automation consultant is in the name of the event. So I would select name of event contains automation consultation. And then that is added in. Oh, I just turned that off by accident. So let's just add that back in. Consultation. There we go. So now that is added in. Now we can see we've configured our trigger. So any events that are on my calendar, 30 minutes before the events that have at least one external attendee, and they are for the automation consultant event. So these are the upcoming sales calls. So I think that this filter here, so filter events on this trigger, I think this might be a new feature because I can see in their template here, they have this condition. So this is a condition which says only continue on this path if the meeting includes external attendees. We already set that up in our filter here, so we don't actually need this. We don't need this node. So I'm just going to actually remove this, and that saves us a step in our automation, which is something that we always want to try and do if we can. We want to make sure that we streamline things. Adding in this filter here is also better than using that condition, because rather than this workflow firing and starting every time there is an upcoming event, and then in the second step, stopping because the condition wasn't met, we can actually stop the whole thing from starting by just using this filter here. So it's going to save us on actions inside Lindy. So you can see the next thing that happens is we're using a Perplexity node to research attendees. As you can see, send a query to Perplexity AI and get a response with real-time information and citations. You can choose the model that it uses here. I'll just leave it on the default for now. And then there is a query. And you'll notice that if I click on this here, it gives us different query types. So we can change how this query works. If we click on set manually, what that will do is allow us to just hard code a query into this section. And what the query is essentially it's what it's going to send to Perplexity to do its research. All right. The prompt AI selection, which is what it's currently on in this template, you can see that it says AI will fill out the field using the prompt and context of the previous steps. So it's going to take the prompt, whatever is in here, but it's also got the context of what's happened previously. So it knows that an event has been triggered via a Google Calendar. It's aware of the filters, and it's pulled through the information from that Google Calendar event. And it's going to roll that into this prompt and the way that it interacts with Perplexity. We can't see exactly how that works, unfortunately. They have a system prompt that they will be sending to Perplexity, and then it will include this query, which is actually part of the magic here in Lindy AI. They've got a bunch of system prompts, I believe, that they send off to the different the partnered systems like Perplexity, for example. So if we click back on here, the third option is auto. So AI will fill out the field using the context of the previous steps. So if we select that, essentially, it's just going to let AI just decide what the query is. And if there is enough context in the previous steps, maybe that's okay. But in this case, we don't think that there is. So what we're adding in here is a variable field for the external attendee. So it's going to give them who in the query, it's going to put who the external attendee is, and then the company name from the email domain. So if you imagine my email domain is natural.agency. So in here, it would send Sam Wilcox, and then it would say natural.agency. So it's going to send that to Perplexity along with the system prompt that Lindy has built in. So the next thing we've got is, okay, well, we're going to research the attendee with Perplexity to find out about them, see what we can find on Google. Then we're going to find the LinkedIn profile. So this is a search internet node. And again, they're using a prompt AI query. The guys at Lindy will have pre-built this. So you've got the contact's name that it's pulling through from the previous steps. And then you've got LinkedIn profile URL. So in this case, as an example, before it would say Sam Wilcox, LinkedIn profile URL, and it's going to hit Google and try and find that LinkedIn profile URL. You can see in the search engine, I think you can change the search engine here. You can type in different search engines if you want, but this is just set to auto. AI will automatically decide what search engine it's going to use here to run this flow. Next up, we've got check email history. Now you can only run this node currently if you have Google accounts. If you've got Microsoft accounts, this isn't going to work for you because they don't actually have, let me show you here. If we go to perform an action, and if I just type in email, you can see the Gmail actions, there are a lot more. And then if you look down here in Microsoft, we've only got draft, send, and reply. If I click on Microsoft Outlook here, you've got move as well, but there's no get, right? So we can't go and get the emails from any Microsoft accounts. But what this does is this node is going to, again, we're going to roll all this information that we've already collected. And then with that context, we're going to check the email history. So you would need to make sure that your email account is connected. You can choose the model. So you can change the model. Again, here you can choose from all the different models that Lindy provides. You can set how many emails it's going to search through. In the template here, they've put 20. And then we've got the return complete body settings. So whether to return a complete email bodies or just the email body's first 300 characters. So this is saying, do we want to retrieve all of the email, or do we want to just retrieve the first 300 characters from the email? If you include the full body, it will increase the credit usage. So one thing that's really important actually is down here in the left, you can see how many credits that you've got on your account. Again, I've got a fresh account here that I'm using for this video. You can see I've got on this free account, out of 400 credits, I've got 398. So the more, actions that we run here, the more credits that we're going to use. That's something that we want to bear in mind. So removing steps like we did earlier is a benefit. We don't want to have steps in if we don't need them. So just to reconfirm, we're going to return 20 emails. We're going to return the complete body of those emails. So be wary with that. And then we've got the filters here. So filter emails by subject and body containing this text. So you can add in filters if you want to really customize this and drill down to make sure that it's only pulling very specific types of emails. Here we've set this as auto, or should I say the Lindy guys have set this as auto for this agent. AI is going to automatically determine what this query should be, this filter should be, if any. Then the from, so this is, okay, well, we're finding emails from a specific person. And the prompt in here is the email address of the person or people on my calendar. So again, this prompt setting here, prompt AI, makes it super easy for you to just type in a sentence for using natural language for what you want to happen in that specific in that specific function. So you're getting the benefits of the AI being able to figure things out based on the simple prompt that you put in, but also it using the rest of the context from the rest of the workflow to be able to figure that out effectively for you. If you set it on auto, you're kind of handing everything over to the AI to figure everything out itself, which can sometimes just lead to varying results. So the prompt AI seems like in most cases it's going to be the most useful, because we kind of put you put the agent on rails to some degree, but you also give it the context to be able to figure things out itself. The to and the after are set to auto, and the before, so filters by emails sent before this time, which is 30 days ago. So emails sent before 30 days ago, it's gonna pull the emails, it's gonna look at pulling those 20 emails from before that time. Only unread. You got a bunch of different filters in here if you want to. You can also, allow it to go into your archived and into spam trash. If you're somebody like me that archives emails once you've read them, and there's no action required, then you might want to turn that on. And then finally, you could also, make sure that it only searches or filters based off of specific label names. If you are an inbox warrior that's got a super organized label system in your Gmail account, fair play. You can use those labels to filter by as well. So this is a really comprehensive node to check email history. Super, super cool. So coming back over to the workflow here, the final thing is it's going to send the meeting prep info based off of all of this stuff that it's just been and found. And you can see up here, this action costs 1 credit. Yeah, you can see the credit cost up on these actions at the top here, by the way. So just so that you can see, okay, 0.5 credits, 1 credit, send the meeting prep. This is 1 credit. So again, you can select the model here. So send the meeting prep info. 2, you can put your email address in here if you want. I think in this template, to highlight how easy it is to use, like the prompt AI, the Lindy guys have put just my email address in here. And then you could add any CCs and stuff. In the subject line, you can set the subject of the email. So upcoming meeting with name. It's going to be able to figure that out based off of the context. Or in the body, we are prompting Lindy to send us an email with the Zoom or Gmeet link, links to the LinkedIn profile of external people I'm meeting, their current job title, company, and summaries of my recent email conversations with them. Send the meeting agenda with the email. From and from name, it can auto do that. And then the signature, you can also add a manual signature in here as well if that's useful for you. So now we've gone through this. It's a pretty basic workflow, but I just wanted to go into it deeply and explain how all of it works, because it's just going to get your brain firing for different use cases and how you might be able to use it for yourself. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like. So if I click on test, it's going to go to my calendar and it's going to search based off of the filtered results, right? So remember we put in the filter at the beginning, so only the ones that contain automation consultation. So it's not found any that have that specific meeting name. So I'm going to use a different one. Tomorrow I've got a YouTube update meeting with a coach of mine. So I'm going to click on select here. So let's just use that one to just run this test. Now you can see it running. So it's grabbed the event and who it's with. It's with my coach and friend, Adam Callow. Now it's researching Adam, and then it's going to also then find his LinkedIn profile, and then it's going to check our email history, and then it's going to send me the meeting prep info. So it does all these things. And on the right-hand side here, when you run a test, you can open each one of these up and you can see a little bit more detail about what's actually happened. So if we open this up, you can see that it sent over the query. And if I click into the result here, you can see a bunch of stuff here that it managed to find about Adam. If I click find the LinkedIn profile URL, it's basically sent Adam Callow LinkedIn profile URL to Google, and then it's found a bunch of different items here. You can see all of the different citations and the different things that it's found. You can browse through those. Then we've got the check email history. So you can see all of the criteria again that we set up in the node. This is all run down here. And then we've got the send the meeting prep info. And then you can see down here, it's sent me the meeting prep info. So if I bring you over to my emails quickly, this is what it looks like. You know, we've got the meeting details, we've got about Adam, we've got recent email context, we got meeting agenda items. So, you know, all this good stuff. It pulls through into an email, and then we're good to go from there. So you can imagine how powerful that is for every new person that you might be jumping on a call with to have a sales conversation. So now that we've done the basic overview of this template, let's really think about how we could juice this up and make this more advanced and more useful for our sales meetings. It's all well and good getting some basic information, but what if we can get it to actually do research on the company that the prospect is from so that it understands what the company does, then have it actually go to their LinkedIn profile URL, which we've already collected in this workflow, and understand what they're talking about recently to see if it can find any insights or information. Then reference a knowledge base with all of our company information, our products and services, what we offer, and then pull a report together of things that could be a fit for us to work together on. Because within that information on their LinkedIn profile and within the information that it gathers about their company, hopefully the AI can figure out, look, our products and services do these things. It seems like they might have these pain points or these issues. These are probably some good things to bring up on the sales call as topics of conversation, and see if those are the pain points and see if those things resonate with the potential customer. So let's see if we can build that out. So after the event trigger kicks off, we're going to research the attendee. We're going to find the LinkedIn profile URL. I think what we want to do is then, after the check email history, if we click in here, I'm going to go to perform an action, and I'm going to go to Perplexity again. And we're going to load in Perplexity here. We're going to change the model to Claude. I like to use Claude 3.5 Sonnet for most things. I just find that it gets the best results. Then for the query, I'm going to change this to prompt AI. And I'm going to say, research the attendee's company using their email domain to find out what they do and who they serve. All right, so we're going to add that in as a step. Then we're going to rename this research company. Then we're going to add another step in here, perform another action. Then we're going to come down to web browser. We're going to click on extract web page text and see if this works. And I'm going to go back into here and say prompt AI. Then I'm going to say search the profile of the attendee. Search the LinkedIn profile to find their last 10 posts and the topics that they talked about. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this to a knowledge base. And I want this knowledge base to hold as much information as possible about the services and products that my company offers. So if I click on add knowledge base, I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to go on website, and I'm going to add a bunch of different links here. So if I go to natural, and I want this to be the AI and automation page, I'm going to drop that link in here. I'm also going to add in our design services. I'm going to drop that in here, add a single link. So now these two, the content from these two pages are added in. I'm going to click on save. So now that you can see we've added this in, we've got a bunch of different settings for the search knowledge base. And essentially this is how do we want Lindy in this workflow to interact with this knowledge base. So query, so what to search for in the knowledge base. Now I'm going to come over to here, I'm going to prompt the AI, find relevant information about products and services that could be a good fit for the attendee based on their company information and what they talk about on LinkedIn. The max results I'm going to leave on auto. I'll let them automatically fill that. And then from 0 to 100, 0 is pure keyword search, 100 is pure semantic search. How fuzzy do we want this search to be? It's on a default, it's 100. I'm just going to leave it as that. So we're going to let this run, and then I'm going to update this send meeting prep info. We want this to be called Sonnet. So the body now is going to be, we're going to essentially update this. So currently it says all the stuff that it did before about sending the meeting information, and then the job title, the company summaries, all that kind of good stuff. So I've just gone ahead and actually updated the body of the report here. So add a comprehensive section to the email that suggests potential pain points that the attendee could have based on their LinkedIn profile activity and their company information. Everything else in here is the same. So what we've now done is we've just given it a whole bunch of extra tasks to do in terms of researching the company, extracting information from their LinkedIn profile, also searching our knowledge base, so our products and information from our website, and then appending that to the report so we've got some more relevant potential talking points for an upcoming sales conversation. I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to run a test, and then we'll see the difference. So if I click on test here, the panel at the side opens up. I'm going to use the same one that we used earlier so that we've got a before and after reference point. All right, so this is now finished, guys. You can see down here, it's run the same thing again. Looks like I had an issue with the checking email history, so try it again, then it worked. Research the company, extract the web page text from the LinkedIn profile, search knowledge base, and send the meeting prep info with the adjusted prompt. So now back in my email, you can see we now have this piece here: potential pain points and business contacts, scaling business operations. Expert Trades is transitioning from a bespoke custom sales process to a more productized and scalable sales model. May need help with automation and systemization of their sales process. Could benefit from improved systems for community engagement. Might need assistance with optimizing their digital marketing infrastructure. May be interested in implementing scalable solution for clients as well. So you can see down here, it's provided a bunch of different potential talking points based off of the information that it's found. So that's been a deep dive into this meeting prep Lindy template. You obviously get the basic one that's pre-set up out of the box with Lindy, but then I just wanted to show you how you can think about customizing this and adding extra steps in to really make this what you want it to be and get the information that you want based off of the actions that you can have this AI agent do. I'm in love with Lindy at the minute. I really love this builder. I really love this workflow. I'm testing out a lot of different stuff. If you like this video, you enjoyed following along, and you want to learn more about Lindy, I'm going to be deep diving into a bunch of different stuff over the coming weeks. So make sure that you do subscribe, hit the like button. That always helps me out. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers.